Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. It is the Daily Dish, and we've got some daily women here, some wise women, I might add. Hello, you, Flynn. Gosh, we've missed you. Jocelyn's in the house. We got Kathy. We've got Doris and Alice. Hello, hello. Isn't it so fun to get together with your girls, with your friends? I think so. And I'll tell you what, I really, every single time I see all of you walk in, it always makes my heart happy. So thank you for joining me today. And you know, we'll be bringing TikTok on in just half a second. Hi, Jeanette. Flynn, I think Flynn is adopting Florida as her next state. I'm just going to say it won't surprise me a bit if you decide to move someday. Carla from Kentucky too. I mean, can we say hello to Carla? Of course we can. We can say hello to everyone. And I'm loving that you're here too, Deborah and Jennifer. Come on. Am I right? Listen, I'll tell you what, one of the things that just makes us different than any other creature on the planet is our gift to each other, which is our friendships and our communities. Animals run in herds and packs and all of that, and they need each other, but in a more rudimentary way. The way we are and the way that we connect on such a high level, miss everything, isn't it? I know that is. Patricia, she got her planner. I'm so excited for you. Jane is in the house. There's our girl, Sue. So lovely to have you here. And especially with today's subject matter. You know, I have a 2018. This is when I started doing this show. No, 2019. This is when I started doing this show. Hello, Mother Hen. I'm glad you're here. Simone from Brazil. Hello. I was just having a talk about Brazil yesterday, as a matter of fact. One of the pickleball players that I play with is Brazilian. And we were talking about Brazilian beaches. Can you imagine? And there she is showing up. So happy 200th Independence Day to Brazil today. That's very exciting. And today, like I said, you know, we were talking about just this gift that we have as community. We're also going to be talking about the power of vulnerability. You know, we don't look at vulnerability very often, do we, as a power? But my gosh, it really, really is. And I'm going to take you there little bit by little bit and talk about this according to what the experts say. Psychologists are our best friends on this stuff because they've unpacked it all, done the studies, and really researched it, and it helps tremendously. Hello, my friend Ellen. I'm glad you're here. So I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about this coming Monday. Here's the deal. Monday, we are doing a masterclass on setting affirmative intentional goals. Affirmations are powerful. Setting intentions are powerful. Having goals that work with those parameters are absolute fire. And I'm going to show you how to do that using our new journal. It is this Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's at you can't go to it. Oh, I was going to give you a link, but I can't. You will get a link in the mail if you own this journal, because this is the system that we use. Without the system, the masterclass wouldn't even make sense to you. Nancy, did you see what Nancy just said? She said life-changing. I watched it with my own eyes. I saw Nancy completely change everything. And when the lights go off, the lights go off, and you will do the very same thing. It is fantastic. Now, if you own the journal and you can't make the class, like our friend Susan here can't. Hi, Susan. No worries. Do you want to know why? because the class is on replay. And one of the things that I really love about this whole thing is, sometimes you have to go back and you have to kind of say, oh my gosh, let me get this again. I need to get this again. Now I want you to take this into consideration. When we are in the masterclass, you could be taking notes wisely with a pencil and your notebook or whatever it is that you use. And you can put a timestamp on when you say, I want to hear that again. And then you can go back to the masterclass, zip through where it is and stop at the timestamp so that you can get that concept over and over again. Isn't that great? So these are the things that we need. I don't want you to just sit there watching the class on repeat, because I guarantee at the end of the class, there's going to be a ton of questions. We will stay till the end, till every last one of them is answered. Okay. So I'm very excited about this, but here's the deal. You have to have a journal. So go to savingdinner.com/journal. Go get it right now. We will get it in the mail just as soon as possible. I will personalize it to you. And needless to say, those journals are not returnable once they're personalized. But here's the thing. You're going to use this and it is going to help you take back your life or create the exact one that you want. Okay. Enough of an advertisement for that. I know. Maybe you're saying, gosh, shut up. Sorry, I just can't help myself. When I get excited about something, you know me, just like that. So that's what we have today. That's what I wanted to tell you about today. And if you are still interested you can go back and watch the goals webinar. Let's go ahead and bring on TikTok, because TikTok has all the information, needs all the information too. Hello, TikTok. Welcome. We're talking about the power of vulnerability today. And if you want to, by the way, if you missed any of the announcements, go to savingdinner.com/announcements for all the announcements. And if you really want to get a little bit into the weeds about this whole goal thing, go to savingdinner.com/goals and go watch the goal webinar. That will help you, and it will help you also understand the power of this journal. By the way, TikTok, thank you. We have so many women who are joining us from TikTok, brand new, who are going to be learning how to use this. Remember, you got to get it at savingdinner.com/journal. It'll tell you everything you need to know, everything. And there's our girl Amber all on TikTok watching it. And there's my girl Jackie. She's here in the house as well. So the power, and the ladders to success cannot be climbed if your hands are in your pocket. That's what Arnold says. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's a smart guy. Those are some smart stuff. And I believe it. It's true. We got to do the work. We got to use everything we've got. How are you doing, Arabian Dark Knight? Nice to have you here. So I'm excited about today's topic because Brene Brown, of course, made this very, what was it? Oh my goodness. Why can't I dare to be? Gosh, I can't even think of the name of her book. Isn't that terrible? But Brene Brown made this whole idea of vulnerability very palatable and not so scary. We got to talk about this, because if we want to be the women that we want to be, if we want to live our most vibrant lives, then we have to realize that part of our superpower deck, if you will, part of our toolbox is this power of vulnerability when we correctly understand it and we correctly execute on it. So let's get into the material here, because I really think you're going to love this, and I think it's going to really be helpful. First of all, let's look at what the dictionary says vulnerability is, shall we? First of all, it says that the quality or state of being exposed to the possibility of being attacked, harmed physically or emotionally. Nobody likes to be vulnerable because of that. Nobody wants to be attacked emotionally, physically, especially, of course, in any shape, way, or form. But when we're vulnerable, when we expose, what we're doing is saying that we are open to that possibility, and we are exposing ourselves, that way, in the hopes of creating a greater connection. We can't connect a greater connection until we understand that vulnerability has to be on play. Vulnerability has to be a part of what it is that we do. And we all know how hard vulnerability is. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, it's easy. All you have to do, step one, step two, step three. It's not like that at all. That's not how vulnerability works. Vulnerability is an open your kimono and expose yourself to just about anything and everyone, right? Because, and when I say everyone, it's this, because if you are vulnerable to someone, you're also hoping and praying sometimes that that vulnerability is going to stay with that person. They're not going to talk about it. They're not going to be sitting here and saying, oh, yeah, I talked to Leanne. You should have heard some of the stuff that she gave me. That's kind of what we risk when we are vulnerable. And, it can slap us upside the head like a 2x4. And I'm not talking cosmic 2x4. Those cosmic 2x4s take us all the way to the place of understanding a new concept. But this 2x4 is saying, you know what? This could wreck you. And yet still, in that desire, in that hot desire, that deep want for connection, we do it. So here's the thing though, we have to have a safe setting for it. We have to have a healthier relationship with both ourselves, because that's going to set us free. We have to have a healthier relationship with others and know who to be vulnerable with. We also have to be completely discerning. Lean on your intuition. I swear every single one of you has it. We all have an intuition. Are you listening? Are you hearing? Are you into that? Do you know that deep side and that deep part of you? Because I will tell you, this is where the truth lies, and you will see things maybe that you've been avoiding. And that avoidance thing, you know what that does? That pushes away the truth. It pushes away the vulnerability. So here's the whole thing with this. When you put all of this together, and you've got the right people or person to speak with, you've got a relationship with yourself, and you understand that this is the truth. You understand how to dig for the truth. You know what happens? You know what happens? Your vulnerability becomes a power. And that's when it clicks in. That's when you dial it in, and that's when you get it. Here's what Brené Brown had to say. When we shut ourselves off from vulnerability, we distance ourselves from the experience that brings purpose and meaning to our own lives and work. Our own lives and work. You know what I wrote in my journal? I'm going to bring this back at the end too. I wrote in my journal when I sometimes I share out of my journal little things that I've been learning along the way on my journey. And this is the one that I come back to a few times. The door to success doesn't open outward, it opens inward. And that's where the vulnerability is. On that inside, it's not on the outside world. It's inside. It's right in here. So if we are going to live wholehearted, vibrant lives, it's born out of brokenness. Have you noticed that? It's born out of brokenness, it's born out of pain, and it's born out of the accompanying vulnerability that surfaces as we're exploring it all. It's not fun, It's not easy. It's not a to-do list. It's not a 1, 2, 3 and check off the boxes and there you go. It's not that at all. Because the thing is we want to do everything to stop the hurt. We don't want to continue on that line of thought, do we? We want to avoid the pain. We want to push it all away instead of leaning into it, instead of understanding that this is not going to kill us. This is not going to ruin us. It's merely going to show us another part of ourselves that maybe we don't know yet. Think about that for a minute. Have you noticed that about yourself? Have you noticed that when you do this, that when you lean in, that you can figure out a little bit more about yourself? It's vulnerable. And it's even vulnerable to the vulnerable holder, you. I've noticed that. And I've noticed I don't even want to know that for my own self, let alone someone else. But therein lies the power. Therein lies this incredible power that you can turn into vibrancy and into a superpower so that you can live your life full out the way you want to. I know it doesn't, maybe it sounds like a little bit of a disconnect, but I promise you it really is not. Because the greatest victory comes in the acknowledgement of this. That's the truth. The embrace even of it. Because vulnerability is a great teacher. It's the thing that's going to show you who you are and what you're about. It's the thing that's going to show you the things, excuse me, that we need to know. Because sometimes we are not looking in the right place. Our reticular activating system is turned off to all of that. But what can turn it back on is being available, being open, and then looking for it, because then we'll see it. Now, we know that shame is a liar. Am I right? Anyone believe that? Shame is a liar. Courage is the truth that opens the door for us. It is the truth that opens the door to us versus to vulnerability so that it can do its incredible work. Because there's a lot of incredible work that needs to be done. And here's the other thing you need to know, that vulnerability isn't in winning or losing or becoming better. It's having the courage to show up when you can't control the outcome. That's a little Brene Brown there too. You know, think about that. That's the tough stuff. How many people do you know that will do that? Are you one of them? How many people do you know who will brave the storm of showing up even when it's incredibly hard, even when it means being vulnerable? There's not a lot out there because, again, that is a superpower to do such a thing. So, and while vulnerability can be the core of shame and unworthiness, and I've seen this before, I've coached women who've had a lot of this inside of them. Listen, we have no choice but to go forward anyway. Carefully choosing, of course, to whom we're going to be vulnerable. Come on, we don't just say, get on TikTok and choose to be vulnerable. I'll tell you what happens when you do that. It's not good. But when we are vulnerable, we can find joy, creativity, belonging, love for others, love for ourselves, and the psychologists say that being vulnerable is going to infuse deeper connections with those who are around you. I mean, think about this. You know, when you confide in somebody and you're vulnerable and they listen and they give you feedback and they hold you tenderly close to them, and you know that your secret, so to speak, is safe with them, what does that do except draw you closer, except have a greater connection? And number 2 is better knowing and developing a sense of who your beautiful self is. You know what I call your beautiful self is that side that's inside of you. It's your whole heart. It is your spirit. It's the beauty within. It's your soul. And they all, I think, marry together. And it's driven by your intuition, the Holy Spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. It's all in there, just waiting for you to tap it. That's the beautiful side of you. It's the beauty that is for you to also shine out to the world. And being vulnerable is all part of that beautiful self. Number 3 is acceptance and empathy. This is something that, boy, oh boy, does this world need right now. Am I right? Have you noticed how ugly it is out there? But when we accept others and ourselves just as they are, blemishes and all, flaws and all, without this need to beat them up or tell them how they should be or whatever, when we understand or don't understand, but we walk alongside them anyway with love and compassion, that's empathy. And empathy is an emotional intelligence that is developed. And when we develop this emotional intelligence, you know, we are unstoppable because nothing's going to pull us down. We have the ability to have big, long arms and a longer table for others. Yeah. And number 5, it teaches us to be okay with the uncomfortable, because being vulnerable is our most accurate measure of courage. Have you noticed that? It's our most accurate measure of courage. So as you're thinking about vulnerability today, as you're thinking about how, can I possibly be that vulnerable person? I want you to start thinking about it in terms of vulnerability being equal to courage. Because when you're courageous, your life changes. Nothing can stop you, nothing can put you down, nothing can put you in the corner. You have your mindset, you have your beautiful self under control, and you recognize and realize that everything inside of you is here on purpose and for purpose because you were fearfully and wonderfully made. And part of that superset that you have is vulnerability. Just be discerning with it. Use your intuition. It's God-given. All right? All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you. And I know right now we've got a lot of people signed up for the masterclass happening on Monday, which I'm really delighted about. That could be you too. You need to go get your journal, however. We are going to learn how to do goals in an affirmative way, in a intentional way, and in a way that's not going to overwhelm you. I can't wait. It's savingdinner.com/goals to watch the webinar that will tell you all about why this journal. And then once you get all of that done, I'm telling you, game on, sister. Game on. I cannot wait for Monday. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you all, and I will see you tomorrow for Thirsty Thursday. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.